We're gonna lay down some ground rules right here and right now. If you were rude, if you were a prude, if you don't like cussing, if you don't respect people's identities, if you don't like body hair or people talking about natural bodily functions, this is not the video for you. What's up, everybody? My name is Ace. I'm 25 years old, and I'm officially 6 weeks post-op from getting a laparoscopic hysterectomy with a bilateral salpingectomy. What's the name of it? Spalong ding dong, which is that. That's fine. What I'm trying to say in layman's terms, my uterus gone, my cervix out of here, my fallopian tubes yoinked, no more. The most common response I get when I tell people I got a hysterectomy at 25 is, "Hey, you poor sweet child, you'll never know what it's like to carry a baby in your womb." I'm gonna stop you right there. No offense, full offense, but f them kids. Them kids. This was the greatest procedure to ever happen to me. I am living my best life. This was in the list of top 3 things I wanted to do in my life, like since the age of 9, and it was not numbers 2 or number 3. So I'm excited. He is. How did this come about? How did you realize you needed a hysterectomy? I gotcha. There's 2 main reasons as to why I need a hysterectomy. We're gonna start with the first one, which should be obvious, is medical issues. I started my period at the wee old age of 12, and it has been downhill since then. Hell on earth. Hell on earth. My period's extremely heavy. I would wear pads, tampons, menstrual cups. I tried so many different things, didn't matter, it would leak. Every single time it would leak. I would leak through a tampon, a jumbo tampon, within an hour and 30 minutes. It was awful. I had clotting, like you would not believe. Cramps, like you would not believe. I never wanted to get out of bed, but I realized nobody cared that I was in pain. So I just had to learn how to live with it, deal with it, go through with it. It was awful. But what was worse than my periods was my chronic pain. Ace, what do you mean chronic pain? Let me tell you. So I would have about 3 free days after my period where I would feel normal and functional and like a real live breathing human being. And then once that 4th day mark hit, it would be a bacon, lettuce, and tomato wrap. And I would have to face and deal with chronic pain. I had bloating. I was always nauseous. I had a dull ache like in my lower abdomen and pelvis region consistently. I was constipated. I would poop like every 3 to 5 business days. And I'm being generous with that 3. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. It was usually every 4 to 5 days. It was not I thought that was regular because that's how my body worked. No matter how much fiber, no matter how much I worked out, no matter how much water I drank, that was it. So I was like, okay, like that's just the way my body works. Spoiler alert, that's not normal. That's not normal at all. I went to the doctor about 4 or 5 times over a span of 3 years to figure out what was going on. And every time they would give me something over the counter and be like, "You're fine, go home." Finally, I advocated for myself. I was like, I need a sonogram. First sonogram I got, they said, "Ooh, looks like you had ovarian cysts, but they popped, so there's nothing we can do about it." I said, okay. Second time I went, they're like, "I mean, your uterine wall is kind of thick, but it's normal, so there's nothing we can do about it." I was like, okay. So eventually I just stopped going to the doctor. I was like, clearly it's all in my head and I'm just a silly little woman who just has silly woman phantom pains and nothing is wrong. However, all of this changed on the eve of October 2021. I woke up from my sleep and it was like Satan himself was just wrestling with a large brown bear in my uterus. It was excruciating. Sharp pains. I could feel just in my uterus. I couldn't stand up straight because every time I did, I'd get a shooting pain and I would collapse. I tried to shit and it was like liquid hot fire. It was so awful. I could barely breathe. I couldn't focus. And I was like, I think I am having appendicitis. I need to get this checked out right away. So I wanted to go see my doctor, but he was booked for that day. So I had to go see another doctor. And looking back, that was my saving grace. I am so glad I went to go see that doctor. He treated me so differently than my primary care physician. When I went to see him, you know, he's like, okay, let me observe your stomach. And he's like pushing on it. He's like, I don't think you have appendicitis because it doesn't seem to hurt that much to the touch, but you might have diverticulitis. So let's schedule a CT scan because I don't know what's going on. So let's schedule that. He saved my life by doing that CT scan. I go to the doctor's office, I get the CT scan, the results come back. The person who did the CT scan was like, "The veins in your uterus, astronomical. They are large, fat, like your ass." And I said, "What?" And they're like, yeah, that's not supposed to happen. And I was like, so what are you saying to me? They're like, you have varicose veins in and around your uterus. I said, I beg your pardon. They said, yeah, absolutely you do. I said, okay, so what do we call that then? It's called pelvic congestion syndrome, which side effects include stress incontinence, IBS-C, dull aching pains in your pelvic region, and a plethora and a myriad of other things. So finally I had a diagnosis for what was wrong with my gut. So I said, okay, well, what do we do? Like, what's the process? What are my next steps? And so they sent me to a women's clinic. And in that women's clinic, they gave me a list of different options. Like, oh, you could take pills. They don't really work well. It's only temporary, so we don't know about that. They suggested something where they inject a catheter into my veins and like try to make sure to dilate them so the blood can be free so my veins are no longer swollen. And they said, last but not least, you can get a hysterectomy. Now, this brings me to my second point of how this came to be about. I have never wanted to bear children, and I've always hated having a uterus. Now, I know a lot of people are like, girl, me too. Like, I hate uterine pain. Periods are so bad. But no, I had such a level of disconnect from the experience of periods that I just was so uncomfortable with them. Every time I would have one, I would think, why am I having this? This doesn't belong to me. And that's such a weird thought. I didn't know what I meant by this doesn't belong to me, but it just felt so out of body and incorrect for me that I was having periods. It felt like that since it had started. My mom even told me when I was 9 years old, I came up to her crying, talking about how I didn't want to be an adult and I didn't want to be a mom. And she was like, go eat your Go-Gurt and get out of my face. Like, you are 9 years old. What are you talking about? And through some self-reflection and self-discovery, I realized I'm non-binary. I don't feel strongly attached to my parts. I don't feel like they make me a woman because I don't feel like the things you have inside of you make you who you are. I think you make you who you are. How you feel is what you are. And so once I realized I was non-binary, it clicked for me. I'm like, oh, this is dysphoria. I am feeling dysphoric. This is an experience that I do not relate to or attach to. I feel so disconnected from bleeding, from having a uterus, from carrying a child. And this is why. So every time my period would come around, I just had the hardest time facing the facts that it was just something I'd have to deal with for the rest of my life. Even though because I don't want to carry my own child, it is now a useless function. It's something I'm gonna have to deal with no matter how gross it feels, no matter how far away from it I feel, it's gonna happen. And it wrecked me mentally and emotionally. It absolutely wrecked me. Just thinking about it would make me so uncomfortable and so sad for myself. Because I was like, this is just not right. So the combination of my chronic pain, my awful, horrible periods, and my gender identity was enough for me to realize hysterectomy is what I want. Hysterectomy is what I need, and I deserve it. Having this discovery and making this plan was one thing, but getting approval for it, I knew was gonna be a whole other ballgame. I knew it, because historically speaking and medically speaking, if you have a uterus, you're seen as a naive creature who doesn't know what's best for them. People will prioritize hypothetical children over your own actual life and your lived experience. People will prioritize men's ideas of what you should be doing over what you should actually be doing for your own health and mental and physical wellness. After collecting horror stories from friends, family, people on the internet about people not listening to them at the doctor's office, I was like, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. Since you think I'm naive and you think I'm just whimsical and you prioritize my ability to have children over my actual lived experience and mental health and well-being, I'm gonna write a research paper. I'm gonna write a personal research paper. In this paper, I discussed a myriad of things. I talked about my identities, yes, of course. I also talked about medical racism. I found a lot of peer-reviewed articles on that, on the types of hysterectomies, the pros and the cons. I found articles on people who'd gotten it and regretted it versus people who got it and enjoyed it. I read articles on parenting and on reasons why people should be parents and why they shouldn't. And I crafted an 11-page personal essay and research essay on why I deserve to have a hysterectomy. I printed that sucker out and I went to my appointment and I was like, hear ye, What you're not gonna do is tell me no. What you're not gonna do is suggest that I haven't thought this through. Here's the 11-page paper to prove it. I can go back and find tweets that I twat when I was like 16 years old, saying that I didn't want a uterus and how I never wanted to be a mother. My story has been consistent since the age of 9, and I'm 25 years old. You will hear me and you will listen to me. Now, the funny thing about that is, when I pulled the paper out to show the gynecologist, you know what she said to me? You know, actually, I don't need to read that, but thank you though. Thank you though. And you want to know why I don't need to read that? And I said, why not? She's like, if you wrote an 11-page paper, then I know that you thought this through. And if you thought this through, then who am I to talk you out of it? My flabbers were the utmost of gasted. My jaw hit the floor. I came in there expecting to have to fight, to choose to do something to my own body for my own well-being. And I didn't have to. She told me about all of the risks with getting a hysterectomy. And she told me specifically, I'm not doing this to talk you out of it. I just want to make sure you are well aware of what could happen and what will happen should you have a hysterectomy. She was like, there's birth control. I was like, I understand that, but I don't want to have to take pills every day to manage something when I could simply just get rid of the issue. She was like, that makes a lot of sense to me. Great, we could do an embolization. And I considered that, I really did. However, that still doesn't take care of the veins on the outside of my uterus. So then I would have to end up getting 2 surgeries, and that was too much. She was like, that makes a lot of sense. She's like, so you want a hysterectomy? I said, yes, ma'am. She trusted me, believed me, said my brain is fully developed, and said, let's get you scheduled. I almost broke down in tears. I was this close to start sobbing. She was the first person to ever actually hear me and see me and validate me in my pain and just give me what I needed. And for that, I am very, very grateful. Now, let's talk about surgery prep. Let me give you a time frame for things. I went to the gynecologist on the 23rd of January, 2022. By the next week, I had a pre-op appointment scheduled and my surgery scheduled for March 15th, 2022. It was that simple. During my pre-op appointment, I went in, I sat down with a doctor. We talked about my medical history, talked about the medicines I was taking, the medicines I stopped taking in order to prepare for surgery. I got an EKG, I got blood work done, and we confirmed, well, specifically I confirmed multiple times that for this surgery, the only things they're taking out are my uterus, my cervix, and my fallopian tubes. The doctor assured me multiple times. She had me sign flyers and things that stated those are the things that were going to get removed versus what was going to stay in my body. And then I had to take a pregnancy test. And those are always so funny to me every time I have to take one. I know they have to be precautious, so I took the test. Obviously, it came back negative unless I was married and carrying the second coming of Christ. And so from then on, she was like, okay, here's what you have to do to get ready for your surgery. She gave me a list of things. This list was also given to me when I scheduled this appointment, so I already knew beforehand. So 2 weeks before the surgery, I had to stop taking supplements and vitamins. A week before the surgery, I had to stop taking everything else except for things that were crucial to my health. So the only pill I was taking was my anxiety medication, and that was it. I wasn't taking anything else. And then the day before the surgery, I had to be on an all liquids diet, and they gave me a bowel prep routine. So I had to take 8 ounces of Miralax and then also 4 Dulcolax tabs, whatever. They wanted to clear me out, and baby, did they clear me out. I was pissing right out of my asshole. I'm talking about, it sounded like I was frying chicken in that bathroom. It was awful. It was a war scene. I was fighting for my life. And the cleanup, let me not even get into it. But what you do need to know is it works. It cleared me right the hell out. Let's talk about what I got prescribed versus what I used in order to help me on my recovery journey. So I got prescribed 800 milligrams of ibuprofen. I got about 30 of those tabs. When I tell you those are lifesavers, absolute lifesavers. And then I got Percocets to help with pain management. I collected a list of highly suggested things to use for recovery after getting a hysterectomy. When I tell you, I probably watched about 15 hysterectomy videos and then literally took note of what they use specifically, and whatever came at the most high regard, that's what I went to go get. Number 1 being activated charcoal. So when you get surgery, they pump your stomach full of gas. That gas sometimes gets trapped in your body, especially if they don't expel a lot of it out. And so activated charcoal just gets things moving and it helps you pass gas. I tried Gas X. It did not work well for me at all. That activated charcoal, wow, worked wonders. I was just tooting and a pooting and a farting. So I would suggest doing that. Just make sure you read the label and follow the instructions on the label before you take it, okay? I got a heating pad, worked wonders on my back. You will need a heating pad, make sure you get one. I got cough drops. During this surgery, they put a tube down your throat and they take it out before you wake up. So you never get to, thank God, you never see the tube in your throat. However, you feel it when you wake up. You feel it when you wake up. My throat was so itchy and dry and scratchy, and I have issues with mucus. And so then it was getting caught on all the nooks and crannies and divots, and I was choking on it. It was a lot. My throat was so crusty and dry. So I got cough drops to help combat that crustiness and that dryness in my throat. And those did well for me too. Let me see, where's my list at? And then of course, stool softeners, which you already have because I had to take them for the surgery, but if you don't have to take them, get you some stool softeners. When you get surgery, your bowels freeze up. They're traumatized. Something just came in, jumped them, took some body parts and left. And they're flabbergasted, they're perplexed. They don't know how to work. They don't know how to function. And so pooping gets difficult. Get stool softening tabs and take them as much as you need to. And as much as recommended, and you will feel a lot better, trust me. Now let's talk about the surgery itself. Let's talk about surgery day, the most important part, yada yada. I got scheduled for surgery at 11 a.m. I was not actually wheeled back to the OR until 2 p.m. So I had a lot of time in between to rest, to talk to my mom who was in the waiting room with me. My dad was actually on call that day, so he came back and talked to me. Some nurses stopped by, they drew blood, they checked all my vitals. We went over the procedures. Again, they had me sign something to say, we're taking this, this, and this, and we're leaving this. Just to verify, they had me verify my name, my birth date, about 4 times. And then while they were there, they sent in the anesthesiologist, and the anesthesiologist asked me if I would want anything before the surgery. I told them no. I was like, I am gonna raw dog this. And they said, I beg your pardon. I said, I am raw dogging this surgery. All I want is the anesthesia. She said, are you sure? I was like, yes, girl, I am 100% sure. She said, great. I also asked for a nausea patch to put behind my ear. I also have a metaphobia. Gotta love mental health issues. Give me a cute little nausea patch. Give me a cute little nausea patch. They went ahead and did that for me. All was well. And then finally, when 2 p.m. hit, it was time for me to get wheeled in. I was not nervous or scared the whole time because I knew it was gonna be good. I was excited to finally get this thing out of me.
Okay, what is up, y'all? It's been about 30 minutes since I woke up from the anesthesia and about 15 minutes since I've been wheeled into the recovery room. Right now, I'm just waiting to urinate. Once I urinate, they're able to discharge me. Because I still have anesthesia in my body, the pain is not that bad. So I'm just doing some steps. They say the more you walk, the better off you are. So I'm just pacing around the room, drinking some water, had some saltines, and I will keep you posted once I can tell the anesthesia is wearing off. Okay, until then.
All right, lads, day 1 of recovery. Just woke up. As you can tell, my lips are chapped. I got a button on. If you say anything about it, you're anti-black. I just had surgery. Nah, but for real, let me give you a rundown on what yesterday was like. So I went in for surgery at 2, came out of surgery at around 3:30, slept for 30 minutes, and then woke up. And then that's what I was filming yesterday. I had the tiniest, eentiest bit of nausea. That was it. I was supposed to pee before 6 p.m. because that's when everything shut down. Of course I didn't, because that would have been too easy. You know what I'm saying? So they had to send me upstairs. Once I went upstairs, I got in the bed, chilled for about 30 minutes. I was like, okay, Dad, let's go on a walk. We lapped the floor probably about 6 or 7 times, got back into the room. And finally I felt the need to pee, so I did. And I was so excited, and I called the nurse, and she was like, girl, that's not enough. I was like, what? She's like, we need about 100 more cc's, and then you can go. I was like, am I being punked? I want to get out of here. But I was not, in fact, being punked. That was the truth. So I just had to sit there, and I decided to order dinner. I was like, let me just get some dinner, eat some grub or whatever while I'm waiting. Did that, drank a lot of water, oodles and doodles, of water. They were giving me fluids through my IV to help me pee. I ate my dinner, no problems there. Probably around 8, I could start feeling a little bit of difference. I could feel the anesthesia starting to wear off and feel the pain a little bit stronger. However, as I stated before, I had really bad periods. So the pain that I was feeling in my stomach after the surgery, I would compare it to what I was feeling when I had my uterus, when I was having cramps. It was nothing that I had never felt before. It wasn't anything new. It was not making me cry. I wasn't stressed, none of that. I just took 800 milligrams of ibuprofen and called it good.
Okay, everybody, end of day 1 review. I have been extremely sore today, like really sore. Getting up, sitting down, I can feel that I definitely had surgery. However, it hasn't stopped me from moving. I got up this morning, drank a protein shake, did a walk with my sister around the block a couple of times, and was fine. Got tired, so I came back in, and I've just kind of been lounging and getting up in between those times. I made the mistake of watching like other people's hysterectomy videos before I got mine, and so many people were saying how insufferable it was and how they were in such deep pain and everything was awful, and so it really frightened me. It really did. But now that I'm going through it, it is painful. I'm not gonna hold you. You know, it does hurt, but it's not like, oh my God, I cannot see the light. It's not like that at all. I have been burping all day, which is good. I don't know, just in case you don't know, the surgeon will pump your stomach with gas while doing the surgery in order to separate your organs so they can get a better picture of your uterus or whatever it is that they're going to take out. And so when they seal you up, a lot of times that gas gets trapped inside. And so it's your duty to try to work it out. Like I said, in all the other videos, people were saying how awful the pain was and how it was just unbearable. And they were feeling it all in their shoulder blades and whatever. And I don't know. I just think I had a really good surgeon, and I voiced my concern about having too much gas in my system. So I asked her kindly if she could just get as much of it out as possible. And I feel like she did, because I'm not feeling that excruciating pain that all those other videos were talking about. So just make sure you talk to your surgeon. Find a very top-rated surgeon, first of all. I am about to go to bed, and then I'm going to show you how I go to sleep and what's been the most comfortable position for me. And then I'm also going to show you my little bloated tummy so you can see what the day after surgery, what your stomach could possibly look like. So hold on one second. So yeah, this is, it's very low key, not anything crazy. I don't know why I was expecting something wild, but technology is so cool, bro. Like, it's so cool. This is what my little stum looks like. Okay, so this is how I've been sleeping. I have 2 really thick pillows propped up, so that when I lay down, I'm a little bit propped up. And then I have this pillow down here, and I put it right underneath my knees. So that way my legs are kind of elevated as well. And for me, that's been super comfortable. It doesn't cause too many issues. And I enjoy that sleeping position. So if that's something you might want to do, that's awesome. I know some people also sleep on their sides, and they use this pillow in between their knees while they're sleeping on their side. I haven't tried that because I don't know. I like to be cautious, but whatever works best for you works best for you. Just avoid sleeping directly on your stomach. That's my advice. Okay, everybody, here we are, 3 days post-op. I'm feeling so much better. Why? It's about to get personal. I finally pooped. I just took some laxatives, and it helped get things moving, and I feel light as a feather. I feel free as a bird. I feel like I could climb a mountain, which I won't, because that's hyperactivity, and I just had surgery. So I won't do that. I don't know. I'm walking. I don't feel as bloated, and it's only day 3, y'all. So I'm like, it can only get better for me. Super excited, super happy. I will show you what my stomach looks like now. So here we are. This is what we're looking like. You see my stomach has gone down a little bit. Still swollen, but not like it was the other days. It's not as solid. We're doing good. We're doing real good.
Okay, so first of all, it's been a week since I had my surgery, and my only side effect is being gassy and tired. A week out, which, don't you just love modern medicine? It's incredible. But also, the doctor's office just called me back, and they're like, hey, how you feeling? How you doing? I was like, I'm great. I'm active. I'm doing lots of things. Like, oh, great. They're like, well, we were just calling to tell you that the biopsy was benign. However, we did discover that you had endometriosis. Huh? What? Like, I knew I had pelvic congestion syndrome. I knew I had that. Where did this endometriosis diagnosis come from? I mean, the dots are connecting, things are clicking. But why was that never? What?
What's up, y'all? I am officially 3 weeks post-op, and so I figured I'd check in with y'all. You'll notice I didn't say anything at the 2-week mark, but that's because everything was going swimmingly. I had no complaints. Everything was the same as it was the first week. I was feeling good, feeling free, sleeping less, living large, so I didn't say anything. Update on how I feel. Good. I felt good pretty much since the 6-day mark. I have felt fine. I don't know if that's a me thing. I don't know if that's common. I know I have a high pain tolerance, so there's that. But truly, by the 6-day mark, I felt okay. So now I really, truly do feel okay. I keep having to remind myself I had surgery because I have the urge to pick things up, and that's one of my restrictions. I cannot pick anything up that's more than 10 pounds, but it's really hard not to because I feel normal. So I have to keep reminding myself, yo, you just lost some organs, babe. Like, calm down. And I'm like, okay, self, let me calm down. But any hoodoo upon a poodle, any wavy upon some what? Gravy. I am going to show you some of the lacerations. 3 of the surgical glue sites, 4 of the surgical glue sites have fallen off, so I can show you those. One of them is still on and it's looking crusty and scary, so I guess content warning, I'll be showing little lacerations and scars. You'll see some crust and you'll see some body hair because I don't shave. So let's get into it.
All right, so nobody scream. I'm gonna show you my stomach. Okay, so this is what 3 weeks post-op is looking like. This is what this incision looks like after the tape had fallen off naturally. That's what this one looks like. And then this one still has tape on it. Like I said, it's crusty and it's crusting up, but once it falls off, it ends up looking something like this. And then there's one on the inside of my belly button, or at the top, like right here. That's kind of hard to see. But yeah, so from up close, this is what they look like. From afar, I mean, it looks like I got scratched by a cat or I like tripped on the pavement. That is it. Modern medicine is wild. So yeah, that's really all I have to say. I just wanted to show you, let you know that truly for me, I can't speak for anybody else. I don't know if it's because of my age. I don't know if it's because of how I tolerate pain, but it has been a walk in the park. It has been a breeze. If I had another uterus, I'd ask them to yoink it again. I don't know what to tell you.
Hi everyone, I would like to give you a little update. So I'm at the doctor's office. My lips are out. And not these lips, I'm talking about these lips. My lips are touching this table. I ain't got no drawers on.
Let's talk about recovery. I actually have a list of things I want you guys to know, and I will be reading directly off the list, so I make sure I don't forget anything. Number 1, like I said in the video 10 billion times, painful to get a hysterectomy. Yes, of course. You're getting a organ removed. You're gonna feel it. It's gonna hurt, but it doesn't last that long. And to me, it was bearable. It was bearable. So keep that in mind. I think the throat actually bothered me a little bit more than my missing uterus did. So keep that in mind. 2, walk. Make sure you walk as much as you can. There's no limit to how much you can walk. So walk and drink water. I was drinking water left and right and left and right. Make sure you stay hydrated. Walking and staying hydrated will spare you a lot of pain. I know it spared me a lot of pain, so make sure you're doing that. I was given restrictions before I went home, and the restrictions were actually very light. There was no food restrictions. There was just no physical activity. I could not lift anything over 10 pounds, and I also could not have anything in my vagina for 8 weeks. Just make sure you're following your doctor's rules and what they have planned for you, because you want to make sure you recover fully so you can get back to normal. Yes, and my other restriction was I couldn't have any hot water directly on the surgical glue over my incisions, which don't do that. So make sure you don't do that if you get surgical glue. Make sure you're taking your medicine the way it was prescribed. So for me, it was that ibuprofen. I was taking my 800 milligrams of ibuprofen every 6 hours. Boom, 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 boom. I was staying up on it, trying to keep everything, that was inflamed, less inflamed, and keep that pain down and block that pain. It was incredible. When it comes to the perks, let me tell you, I took them like the first 3 nights just to make sure I could sleep through the night. But that 4th night, it gave me the most hellaciously vivid, never-ending nightmare of my life. And I said, well, that's enough of that. I'm gonna stop taking those. Not to mention they also help block you and make it difficult to poop. So I was like, not only is this giving me nightmares, but it's making it harder for me to poop. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not taking any more of those. So I didn't take any more after the first 3 nights. So just do what's best for you. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. If you're in pain, don't deny yourself the medicine, okay? Next on the list, nap. I don't even think this is really a suggestion. I think it's just something that you're gonna do naturally. I was so tired. I would take multiple naps a day after getting surgery. And I'm not a napper, never have been. But after that surgery, I was knackered. So you will find yourself going to sleep frequently. That is okay, that's good, that helps with recovery. Take naps, as many as you want to, actually. After you take a nap, get up, walk, come back home, sit, lounge. You'll probably fall asleep again. Keep doing that. I would say by day 6, other than some soreness, I felt like a normal person. I felt like a human being again. That's how quick recovery was for me. I was ready to drive my car and go home and take care of myself. I thought it was gonna take longer to feel like myself emotionally, but no, I bounced back pretty quick. I was still tired. And I was tired probably up until the 2nd week of surgery. So I was still taking naps. So keep that in mind. Whew, I am so tired of talking. Lord, take it away from me. Take it away from me on tonight. I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope I at least quelled some fears you might have had about getting this procedure done. If you have any questions, and I mean any questions, literally no question can be too personal about the surgery or about my identity or about my journey or whatever. None of them are too personal. Make sure you ask them in the comments. I hope you have a good rest of your day. And I just want to let you know you are loved. You will be okay. And have a good rest of your day.